Maturity is hopefully the destiny of all humanity, yet the journey may seem daunting and perilous at times. Even when we reach the appropriate age to be considered fully developed, it can be difficult to accept that we are the adults in the room and responsible for our actions and the environment in which we live.
You're what, 26, 27?
I'm 30 next Friday, sir.
30. But you're not a bad sailor, you have the knowledge. You can't spend the rest of your life a midshipman.
No, sir. I will try much harder, sir.
It is important to remind ourselves that the quest for reaching maturity is a never-ending journey. One can reach a level of maturity in one moment only to find themselves as incompetent and emotional as a child in the next.
The answer's no, Griff.
What's wrong, McFly? Chicken?
Nobody calls me.
In a previous video, I discussed the 4 masculine child archetypes that were outlined in the book King, Warrior, Magician, Lover by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette. In this video, I will be discussing a specific archetype of the mature masculine that dominates storytelling around the world, from ancient mythology to our current media environments. That is the archetype of the warrior. No topic is covered more thoroughly in the annals of history than warfare. It dominates both historical records and artistic works of fiction. Perhaps that's because wars are vehicles for change, not only in our physical world, but our internal world as well. The study of history is essentially the study of our ever-changing social environment. Scholars study war as it depicts the liminal spaces between different worlds, ruling parties, ideas, forms of government. Artists from all genres can't help but depict war as a backdrop for our dramatic, romantic lives.
See, the last time we met
was La Belle Aurore.
But of course that was the day the Germans marched into Paris.
I remember every detail. The Germans wore gray, you wore blue.
When discussing masculinity, it is important to clarify that I am not segregating females, women, girls, or non-binary people. When I'm talking about masculine archetypes, where Carl Jung believed that everybody has a masculine and a feminine traits within their subconscious, which he called an anima and animus. All people are capable of embodying masculine and feminine archetype, even though I may predominantly use male pronouns and images in this video. In my essay on the child archetypes, I ended with the hero, who represents the peak of childhood development. I mentioned that when the divine child embodies the parents and social expectations of the child, the hero embodies everything the child envisions for themselves. Accessing the hero energy pushes the child into the mature adult world. The crucible the hero faces transforms the child into a more responsible person.
You've taken your first step into a larger world.
I'm down here! I'm down here! I'm stuck! I'm stuck! I can't move! I can't...
Because the hero finally takes responsibility for their own survival and development.
Come on, Spider-Man. Come on, Spider-Man! Oh, come on, Spider-Man!
The mature version of the hero, the warrior, assumes a higher responsibility. But let's step back. Let me define what I mean by archetype. Renowned psychologist Carl Jung, pictured here after telling his favorite Freud joke, believed that every human has a base code, like an operating system, and the themes of our art reflect the structure of that OS. Jungian studies find common themes in art and literature across different countries. An example of this is Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, also known as a monomyth, which was published in his book The Hero with a Thousand Faces. The monomyth begins with an average person full of potential who is called to adventure, endures trials, fights temptation, transforms themselves, defeats enemies, and receives a reward, only return to their everyday world having changed. The hero now holds the power to effect change in themselves and the world around them, and with this power comes...
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
And with the power of the warrior comes great responsibility. The warrior emerges from the hero's journey ready to take action not only for themselves but also for those around them, devoting their energy to a higher cause. That higher cause can be represented by national identity, religion, sect, tribe, and thus the hero becomes a warrior. The warrior is the ultimate force for change in the world. The warrior is always alert. He declares war on his enemies, moves forward, takes each obstacle as a challenge.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
The warrior is also a master of technology. A warrior treats their weapons and their technology as extensions of themselves. They respect the power their weapons hold and believe that they can gain strength just from being in its presence.
I think he's dying.
He needs the axe.
Honing and cleaning a weapon can be a methodical ritual for a warrior.
I'm a Mandalorian. Weapons are part of my religion.
Meditating on the fact that the true weapon is always their own mind.
Learn to use this. Then I'll teach you to use this.
Both of which must also be kept clean, sharp, and ready. The warrior gives everything they have to a cause, risking their very life for an outcome.
Too fast and it's heading for New York.
Right now I'm in the middle of nowhere. If I wait any longer, a lot of people are gonna die.
It is important to demonstrate that this power need not be physical or violent in nature, as often portrayed in mythology or modern storytelling. The power of the mature warrior is the ability to effect change in oneself and the world in whatever form that contest takes.
I know you're angry! Let's march the streets of San Francisco and share our anger!
It may be a political debate, mastering a new skill, a physical contest of strength, or a strategic diplomacy. After all, war is merely politics by another means.
Your spy planes are so secret that you are simply incapable to present such evidence.
Do you, Ambassador Zorin, deny that the USSR has placed and is placing medium and intermediate range missiles and sites in Cuba? Yes or no? Don't wait for the translation. Yes or no?
When a boy matures and enters manhood, it is important for a child to put away the child archetypes and let the man forever reign. The hero must accomplish this, as the hero is the dominant archetype for the masculine child, while the king is the dominant archetype of the mature adult. The warrior must cede authority over themselves to the king within.
Without fear in the face of your enemies, be brave and upright, that God may love thee. Safeguard the helpless and do no wrong. Defend the king. If the king is no more, protect the people. That is your oath.
The warrior, once the protector of the other archetypes, is now at the beck and call of others. They serve to produce the ends for the other archetypes, with no one more important than the king. Thus, the warrior is defined by their relation to the other archetypes, or the lack thereof.
How dare you show your back to me? Slave!
Although a warrior is fully centered mature archetype, it is not sustainable to live one's life as a warrior alone. The warrior by themselves can be a devastating force onto themselves and the world around them.
Let's have children. A family of our own. Our children. Yours and mine. Before I'm too old for it. Before I dry up inside.
Children aren't a part of the bargain, Maddie.
Why, Shane?
Matt has to be what he is, Joey. Can't break the mold. I gotta be going on.
Why, Shane?
Joey, there's no living with a killing. There's no going back from it.
When the warrior energy is accessed fully, the warrior becomes emotionally detached.
Therefore, you won't be able to give me the time of day because you have bigger things to pursue.
That's exactly my point.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Just as a warrior may don armor to protect themselves from their enemy in the physical world, the warrior must also push away loved ones, so that they have room to focus fully on their task at hand.
Fuck Harvey, it's poop, okay? I just hope I'm more important than poop.
I don't know what time I'll be home.
6 or 6:15. I'd rather die drunk, broke at 34 and have people at a dinner table talk about me than live to be rich and sober at 90 and nobody remember who I was.
This is a prevalent issue in the modern military, where soldiers may return to their families only for their loved ones to find them emotionally distant.
Some guy drove his truck into the middle of an Iraqi market, starts passing out free candies. All the kids come running out to their families. He detonates, saying 59 are dead. You know they need more bomb techs.
Want to chop those up for me?
But a true warrior values their time with their family and gives power to the king or the father energy. This may result in emotional baggage, but it is important for creating a well-rounded person who gives equal respect to all archetypes.
That's good. For my son back home.
True warriors are known to keep talismans that remind them of their loved ones while they are far away, that serves as reminders that the warrior is only one part of a whole person. The warrior is devoted to a higher power and does not value anything that does not serve this power. In this, a warrior can be manipulated into fighting for the wrong cause. A mature, centered warrior cedes their authority and power to other archetypes. It is the other archetypes that help direct the warrior down the correct path and ensure they are fighting the true enemy.
I took her down! Burn!
Stay out of this, Flyers. This ain't your show.
You ain't a firing squad, you piece of shit!
History can show us the consequences of this in legal proceedings against German soldiers following the Holocaust and the end of World War II. Many soldiers on trial defended their actions by stating that they were merely following orders given to them by higher officers, an authority figure, and that they believed that they were not responsible for the crimes that were committed.
If your honors will find me, and millions of Germans like me who believed they were doing their duty to their country, to be not guilty.
This defense was universally condemned, as each soldier is ultimately responsible to the highest authority, that of humanity, and should know the difference between right and wrong.
When you stand before God, you cannot say, "But I was told by others to do thus," or that virtue was not convenient at the time. This will not suffice. Howsoever you are plagued, or by whom, your soul is in your keeping alone.
The warrior, being emotionally closed off, is unable to distinguish between morals and ethics without access to the other archetypes.
It's the reason why there's but to do and die.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean, Corporal, huh? We're all supposed to die, is that it?
Nothing's talking about our duty as soldiers.
Yes, sir.
To the hero, the mature warrior may seem jaded. The hero may distrust older warriors, who they see as having compromised their morals and ethics to achieve the ends of the other archetypes.
You gotta be kidding me. We'll let him go?
He's a POW, Ryman.
Captain, you just let the enemy go.
This is such bullshit. You all got that right.
When the warrior is properly accessed in relation to the other mature, balanced archetypes, the warrior can be transformed into a force for universal good. The warrior will be there to tackle the necessary tasks, to fight for good, to help balance and shape the world for positive change.
If you look back through history, you will see men fighting for pay, for women, for some other kind of loot. They fight for land, power, because a king leads them, or just because they like killing. We are here for something new. We are an army out to set other men free.
The warrior is called upon whenever change is needed. When the king needs to establish their rule or authority, they call on the warrior to achieve their goals. When a magician needs to learn a new skill, it is the warrior who strategizes and endures the tasks necessary.
By serving something greater than yourself. Better still, live and serve.
In serving each other, we become free.
That is the very heart of Camelot. Not these stones, timbers, towers, palaces. Burn them all. And Camelot lives on. Because it lives in us. It's a belief we hold in our hearts.
When the lover needs to become a better person to the benefit of others, it is the warrior who declares war on themselves and pushes themselves to improve. And when the warrior within us fails, when we find ourselves face down in the sand, when we are called out and ashamed, when we are otherwise defeated, It is the other archetypes that are there to keep the warrior in check. The mature adult cannot allow themselves to strike out in anger or fear. If the warrior is not kept in check, we risk giving ourselves over to the shadow warrior. The shadow warrior is the most dangerous side of ourselves and is often depicted as the villain throughout mythology. This is the uncensored bipolar warrior. This structure is visualized by Jung as a pyramid, with the peak representing the full realization of the archetype, and the base representing the bipolar shadow that is in conflict with itself, one passive pole and one active pole.
Whoa, hey,
Watch it,
all
Sarge.
right, come on.
Take it easy, man.
Yeah, that was easy. That was motherfucking easy.
The active side of the shadow warrior is sadistic, enjoying inflicting pain on others.
Warriors, come out to
Not for their official goals, but to satisfy their own need for dominance.
Why'd you waste Cyrus?
No reason. I just like doing things like that.
Sadism can also turn sexual, as rape and warfare has been recorded throughout history and remains a problem in modern militaries.
What we're gonna do is requisition ourselves a girl. Little portable R&R. Break up the boredom, keep up morale.
It is important for mature and centered warriors to declare war on themselves, holding themselves accountable for all urges, desires, and actions.
Sexual talent? What the fuck is your problem, Tail? It's the fucking thing.
She's a fucking human being, man! Fuck you!
Sexual violence can happen to anyone by anyone, regardless of gender or sexuality. It is a crime of dominance, not desire, which places it in the realm of the warrior to overcome. This battle is fought both internally against their own aggression and externally against the aggression of others. A warrior needs to be aware of their shadow. Drawing strength from the knowledge that they have already conquered themselves, the warrior can keep their shadow in check.
You see this guy here staring back at you?
Yeah?
That's your toughest opponent. Every time you get into the ring, that's who you're going against. I believe that in boxing, and I do believe that in life.
The passive or negative pole of the shadow is a masochist, who enjoys the pain received from their opponent, for they believe themselves to be deserving of this punishment for their failures. The warrior endures pain and punishment, similar to the training required to prepare for physical challenges such as a marathon. The warrior stays out of the shadow by reminding themselves that the punishment is a means to an end and not the end itself. The mythology of the ancient Greeks had two gods of war. Ares was a sadistic and masochistic god who enjoyed warfare for its own sake, whereas Athena, a goddess who used war as a means to accomplish good in the world.
Back into line! We need to retreat! My army's never lost a battle yet! You won't have an army if you don't fall back!
Athena valued life and employed strategy to minimize the negative effects of warfare. The Greeks remind themselves when waging war that they must act more like Athena than Ares. The warrior must remind themselves not to enjoy the combat, but rather embrace it as a necessity, as a means to their end goal. The best way a warrior can remain centered is to give control to the other archetypes, cede them power, and guide the warrior towards the goals. The hero cares for all and recognizes the need for change, not just in themselves, but in the world around them. The greater warrior is the keeper of this hero energy. Maturity is a lifelong journey. The warrior archetype plays a significant role in the mature masculine. The warrior is called upon to effect change, fight for a higher cause, and endure challenges. However, the warrior must be balanced with the other archetypes, as an uncentered warrior can be dangerous. By ceding power to the other archetypes, the warrior remains centered and can become a force for positive change in oneself and the world. This has been a production of Minimum Effort Media. There are new videos on this channel on the first Friday of every month. In the next few videos, I will be exploring the mature masculine archetypes. If you would like to win a free copy of Moore & Gillette's King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, I will be hosting a giveaway on each video I release on the topic, including this one. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber with notifications turned on, like the video, leave a comment, and I will choose the comments at random and post the winner on my next archetype video. The winners from the last video are on screen right now. Please contact me at The Lazy Stoic across all social media so I can get your contact information. And thank you for watching.